pleasure to be with you today. And actually, now it's in Cyprus, it's 5 early in the morning, so it was a little bit difficult with a different timing, but I'm still happy to be with you. So the topic of my presentation is challenge of change in hybrid teaching and learning during the pandemic. So due to the sudden outbreak of COVID-19, universities have needed to respond to the challenges and devise new solutions for teaching. And the traditional way of teaching has been substituted by online teaching. So teachers have to think about efficient and effective teaching methods and activities in online delivery that can keep the students interested and engaged. And it is important to examine teachers' cognition and its relevance to actual classroom management and teaching practice. So the role of technology in language teaching cannot be overestimated, and the implementation of information and communication technology, ICT, in learner-centered instruction in language classrooms helps to increase students' motivation, engagement, and interest. So the aim of the current study was to examine the cognitions of the students who are future EFL teachers and their attitudes and perceptions regarding online teaching, as well as their personal experiences and challenges regarding the use of online platforms and digital tools. Technology plays an important role in teaching, learning, and assessment. Technology facilitates practical applications of knowledge. Electronic systems and devices are used for data generation, storage, and processing. And digital technology can be accessed online, and teachers can have access to educational websites and inexpensive online resources via the internet. And technology-enhanced teaching and learning is based on the use of ICT to enhance and reinforce knowledge and understanding. So according to Grevels, there is a gap between those who have access to digital technology equipment, the internet and ICT, and those who do not, which is called the digital divide on an individual level and the global digital divide on a society international level. Some learners are more familiar with digital technology than are their peers or even their tutors, and they could be paired with inexperienced learners for the benefit of the entire class in the teaching and learning processes. It is important to develop digital literacy skills and the ability to use new products as devices emerge and become available. ICT can assist teachers to increase learners' confidence and to engage and stimulate them. Traditional teaching can be enhanced by online or blended delivery, and learning becomes more interactive if ICT is incorporated, although a good balance is necessary. Digital literacy is an essential part of life in the 21st century. It is related to the use of various digital devices, software, applications, platforms, programs, and the knowledge and awareness associated with the use and benefits of digital technology, as well as with new ways of thinking and digital problem solving. Digital literacy research incorporates studies from various disciplines such as applied linguistics, education, communication, media studies, and informatics. And there are different types of digital literacy. We can talk about emancipatory literacy, the pedagogy of multiliteracies and multimodality, everyday literacies and the relationship between knowledge and informatics, and of course, the connection between literacy and participatory culture. Digital literacy can help vulnerable populations such as adult learners, senior people, and people with disabilities to overcome social exclusion due to their low incomes, low language proficiency, or limited educational experience. And these populations can gain confidence in their language and digital skills and the ability to use digital tools without fear of technology and of the digital world. Multimedia and the use of multiple languages have become valuable forms of support for multilingual adult learners. The aim of the current study was to examine the cognitions of students who are future EFL teachers and the attitudes towards and perceptions of online teaching, as well as their personal experiences and challenges in relation to the use of online platforms and digital tools. Specifically, the study addressed the following research questions. What are the students, future EFL teachers' cognitions about online teaching and learning during the COVID-19 pandemic? What are the perceptions of students regarding the role of digital literacy in relation to their academic progress and continuous professional development? So we had 40 university students, third and fourth year, and here you can see the age ranges and the languages they know. And the materials and procedure that we used, we were implementing block entries after their sessions. In total, 10 block entries were examined, and we also used 2 reflection journal entries, one at the beginning and another at the end of the course. And the topics of the blocks were based on the materials covered and the discussions that had taken place in class. So here you can see the range of issues that we have examined. and discussed. In addition, we analyzed the students' engagement and participation in online classes in the oral and written modes. The online sessions conducted via Microsoft Teams were recorded and observed with regard to the frequency, quantity, and quality of students' participation in discussions, question-answer sessions, and blogging via Blackboard. In addition, we investigated the attitudes of the students via questionnaires and focus group class discussions towards e-learning and the use of digital tools. Let's move to the results. So the analysis of the data showed that the students understood and perceived both advantages and the constraints of online teaching. They had different levels of digital ICT literacy and had experienced certain challenges regarding online delivery. The analysis of the data, which were obtained using questionnaires and focus group discussions, showed that various platforms and digital tools were used for online delivery. Here you can see the graph. So the students did not feel comfortable having the cameras and microphones on when they were attending general online classes and preferred to use the written format of communication to ask and answer questions via chats. Only some of the students managed to combine written and oral modes of communication in the class. They liked to participate in group via channels or breakout rooms. And please see the following excerpts from the block entries. For example, the dialects in the class are one of the most important methods for the teaching process. They create pluralism, help every student to be heard without hesitations, and the lesson becomes student-oriented. Participation in online sessions, writing blogs was quite popular among the students, including private and public blogs. More than half of the students admitted that they liked the fact that their sessions were recorded and in this way provided opportunities for synchronous and asynchronous learning experiences. Recorded sessions considered an extra learning resource for the students as they could watch them at any time, which was considered particularly useful if they had missed a class. The students stated that they could also understand the material better, revise it, and if necessary, leave comments for the tutor and their peers in the chat or address them later in class. Videos were considered to be an efficient learning tool in online classes. So here again, some examples, excerpts from block entries. So what teachers could do in order to get students to engage more with a foreign language is to put movies in class, which would be in the particular language without any subtitles. They could also propose that they listen to foreign music and read books in that foreign language. Some of the students stated they would prefer to have more games like Kahoot. Again, some examples. Moreover, little games such as crosswords or other language-related fun games can help the learning process by making it more fun and engaging. Half of the students mentioned that they found submitting their assignments via T and receiving back from their tutors to be very convenient. And the students liked the idea of using social networking and social media for communication and interactive dialogues, and the fact that these platforms were incorporated in their teaching and learning process. The students reported having Facebook accounts and using Twitter, internet blogs, and wikis. They had a Facebook group in which all the announcements about guest lectures and seminars were posted, which formed part of their extracurricular work. And they lacked the sense of belonging and participated willingly. Social networking can help shy students to overcome their fear and anxiety and express themselves, and users have quick access to information updates. Again, see some of the examples. So the students were aware that despite the advantages, there were some disadvantages of social networking, as some users could troll others using inappropriate language or making inappropriate comments, and personal information and identities could be stolen. Thus, it is important to be a digital citizen and to be responsible for the activities in the online social world and online communities. Here you can see the graph that shows the students' use of online tools. The analysis of the data, questionnaires, blogs, and focus group discussion and classroom discussions revealed that most of the students prefer to have face-to-face classes and others online or blended classes, while 2 students were not entirely sure. However, they did understand that online teaching was the only option given the pandemic situation. Most of the students prefer to have traditional face-to-face teaching learning because they had more opportunities for communication in a real-life classroom environment without any technical issues. And some of the students mentioned that due to COVID-19, the shift to online teaching was abrupt or very quick, and that both teachers and students had to adapt and to increase their digital literacy. Again, some examples. Some of the students found online teaching and learning to be quite convenient because they did not need to spend time commuting to the university and could study at home. It is obvious that the EFL students who were future EFL teachers understood the importance of digital literacy and were willing to integrate it in their future teaching. 80% of the respondents believed that they were digitally literate, while 70% of them considered that they needed to improve their digital literacy, which means that they understood that the development of digital literacy is an ongoing process and should constantly be updated. The results of the study showed that the students who were future EFL teachers understood the role of technology-enhanced teaching and attempted to use online presentation tools, multimedia, collaborative writing, and intranet resources. It appeared that digital technology would become part of their personal and professional lives. Again, let's look into some examples. So the learners were involved in self-study by using their intranet videos and digital technology to support their learning. On occasion, they needed to find more information about certain software to challenge themselves and to devote time and put more effort into their learning. The learners like to use their computers, laptops, tablets, mobile phones, and smartphones to access the internet and intranet resources, software applications, and programs. They found it interesting to be involved in online discussions, online voting via the intranet, Microsoft Teams, social networking, and social media. Again, some examples from the blog entry. So technology is a medium familiar to everyone nowadays, and through the internet, many audiovisual materials can be used, such as educational videos that can stimulate all sorts of emotions and impressions, making the lesson more interactive and interesting. So the students became used to e-portfolios and e-assessments. They had access to augmented reality calendars and diaries and other online opportunities. Again, an example. And all these promoted interactive online education. It was found that the students like to have pictures and infographics, as well as videos and links to websites and resources, and they attempted to use innovative presentation programs to make their own presentations more visual and attractive and engaging. So in teaching a second language, it is essential for the students to be provided with a lot of material which is suitable for their level, challenging enough, and stimulating as well. According to the students, there were certain advantages regarding teaching, learning, and the use of ICT as learning becomes more accessible, inclusive, flexible, cost-effective, and sustainable. In addition to that, the teacher has to think of any interests, talents, or even special needs of the learners and somehow adapt to those. In our time, technology is so improved and is a major part of our lives, so a teacher could use it to keep the learners engaged and interested. Examples can be used of World Wide Web, media, films, and video. Lastly, the learner should engage with the material, and the class should be interactive. In-class activities like teamwork, games, and group projects can help with that. However, the students mentioned that the online mode had certain disadvantages, as equipment and software purchases or upgrades could be quite expensive, and moreover, there could be issues with the internet connection and the security of data. Some students might lack certain digital literacy skills, thus their self-confidence may be low, and they would need to invest a significant amount of time and effort in order to catch up and set up their software and programs. Furthermore, the rates of copying, cheating, and plagiarism could increase, and certain aspects of technology could be misused. One of the disadvantages of online classes is that there are no face-to-face meetings, which could create an issue pertaining to authenticity of students' work and confirmation of their identity. Thus, the instructor should undertake several roles, such as an online tutor, assessor, and moderator, and should be able to motivate, encourage, and challenge his or her students by being equipped with communication, time management, and empathy skills. Again, some examples. Some of the students were extrovert who did not like the feeling of isolation during the learning process, and the students' major concerns were the availability of and access to software, the familiarity with ICT and internet connections and speed. And the students mentioned that they liked the idea of their tutors' availability in order to respond to their questions and monitor their progress in synchronous and asynchronous modes. The learning materials were always uploaded to Blackboard and Microsoft Teams in advance to allow the students to work on them prior to the class. In this regard, clear instructions and guidelines are extremely helpful. It is important that the tutor considers learners' perspectives and provides them with extra explanations to enable them to progress through the learning materials by giving relevant feedback, guidance, and support. And the students could access IT support from the IT department. Again, some examples. So the students had access to the intranet, their Blackboard, where they could find materials and resources related to their course, engage in online collaboration and communication, submit their assignments and receive feedback, participate in synchronous and asynchronous discussion forums, and join projects and download and play video and audio clips, pictures, and sounds. This VLA supported them both in traditional face-to-face and online teaching environments. Blended learning, a combination of digital technology and face-to-face teaching, was one of the options preferred by students, particularly post-COVID as well. Well, we're talking about current COVID, but then current COVID situation, but then it's something for them to be considered in the post-COVID situation as well. Again, some examples. Flipped learning is also a very good option because it allows the students to use multimedia, videos, and postcards to collaborate with their peers, to add context to teaching and learning, and to implement a personalized interactive approach. And the task of a tutor is to guide and support the learners and to facilitate their learning. The learners need to engage in research outside of the session and then discuss it in class. So the results of the study showed that the students who were future EFL teachers were aware of the importance of digital literacy and the use of ICT in EFL classes, and the analysis of future teachers' cognition is important as they are related closely to their future teaching practice. The students experienced the advantages and disadvantages of online teaching and learning and the benefits of ICT use in class. The learning experience will be reflected in their future teaching practice, classroom management, teaching methods and techniques, materials and curriculum development, and implementation of digital technology in classrooms. The students believed that the use of ICT in classroom in synchronous and asynchronous ways could enhance learner-centered instruction and could increase students' engagement and motivation, which is in line with the previous research. The students considered themselves to be digitally literate, but still wanted to increase their knowledge and acquire new digital skills. Technology-enhanced teaching is beneficial for knowledge enhancement and reinforcement, and thus the digital literacy of both teachers and students should be developed and updated constantly. The students understood the advantages and disadvantages of synchronous and asynchronous learning environments and were aware of the wide range of tools, applications, and digital devices available. They were aware that it was their responsibility to learn how to navigate online in secure and safe ways. So keeping abreast of technological advances can help them to become good teachers and to promote discussions, peer collaboration, group work. Thus, the students like the idea of flipped classrooms that include students' projects, multimodality, and extracurricular tasks. Students' individual differences, as well as affective and social factors, equity, equality, and diversity should be taken into consideration in teaching, learning, and assessments via ICT. The students also acknowledge the role of the instructor and his/her personal characteristics, enthusiasm, commitment, approachability, and role as a facilitator, moderator in successful teaching, learning, and assessment. Although the majority of the students prefer to be taught in traditional ways, their online experience during the current pandemic situation changed their attitudes towards ICT and its role in EFL class. The students who were future EFL teachers were willing to learn, to attempt to be flexible, and to adapt to the current situation. They plan to implement digital technology in their own teaching practice in the future in line with the ideas of multiliteracy and multimodality. Thank you very much for your attention. Here are some references, and I will be willing to answer any questions, if any. Thank you very much. Should I stop sharing? Probably, or...